In the meantime, I'm joined here in the studio with Scott Osland. He's our City of Gillette Streets Division Manager. Scott, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with the city, a little bit more about your role with the Streets Division?
Sure, Jennifer. I'm a Gillette native. I've lived in Gillette just about my whole life, so I've seen plenty of winters come and go. I've been with the City of Gillette for about 7 years now, and as you said, I'm the streets manager, and one of our biggest responsibilities is snow season and keeping the roads clean and safe.
It's a timely topic. We just made it through our first snow event of
We
this
did.
new season last week. Great job to you and your crews.
Thank
I
you.
think everybody can agree the streets looked great, as they always do. But I'd love to talk a little bit more about our snow efforts as we get into this new snow season. Can you tell us a little bit more about the streets team? How many employees do you have?
Sure.
What kind of equipment do they use?
Sure. I will mention here we are on election night, and that's a little uncertain. Who knows how that's going to go, but it's definitely going to snow.
Yes.
So we're ready for it. The streets department consists of 16 people,
Okay.
and that's number 16 is then divided by 2. So we have eight drivers for a day shift and 8 drivers for a night shift. Our equipment, we have 10 snow plows. And so we fill those seats with 8 people, and then we have 2 trucks for spares, for just in case if something happens. And then also we're assisted by the Parks Division. They have 4 one-ton trucks that do quite a bit of the subdivision work. And then they also have the smaller equipment that keeps the pathways throughout Gillette clean too, because they get used all the time. Even in a storm, they get used.
Absolutely. Can you tell us also a little bit more? So it's a pretty small team, relatively
Yes.
speaking. I mean, if
Yes.
you've got 8 on duty at all times, how much of Gillette are we actually covering?
Well, from city limit to city limit, there's well over 500 miles of streets to plow.
Wow.
So when we are out, it's just up to those 8 people to really take care of all the streets. It's remarkable that only 8 people can get that job done.
It
That's for
absolutely is. And then when you add in pathways, because
Yeah.
that gets to be a point too, then there's that much more even. So
Yeah.
it's very impressive. Let's talk a little bit more about snow routes and emergency levels. That's something that I think we forget. It's switched over the years. I think we used to have 3 levels, and now we're down to just 2, and
Yeah.
it's been that way for a while. But we know there's some confusion out in the public sometimes. So you can tell us a little bit of information about the difference between a level 1 and a level 2 snow
Sure.
emergency?
You know, really, when it just starts snowing, that's all it is a snowstorm.
Sure.
But then when it starts, it looks like it's going to get over 4 inches, then the city administrator gets involved, and they can raise that from just a plain old snowstorm to a level 1. And a level 1 really is just, there are main priority routes throughout Gillette. Most of them are just around the old part of Gillette.
Sure.
Where they just don't want you to park. You can park there if it's not going to snow, but if it looks like it's going to snow, we'd like you to move your car or your truck so we can plow those streets a little bit better. Now then, if it looks like it's going to be a lot of snow, then we get to a level 2. And when you get to a level 2, that just really means it's going to be an awful lot of snow, and we just really are against any non-emergency travel. Mostly because when there's that amount of snow and a car gets stuck or a truck gets stuck in the middle of the road, it makes it very difficult for us to plow. We can even get stuck when we lose our momentum. And so it's just best when you get a level 2, abide by those rules, stay at home for a little while, give the streets department an opportunity to get the roads clear. We can get an awful lot of work done in a 12-hour shift, and we can get a tremendous amount of work done in a 24-hour shift.
Absolutely. And that level 1 and level 2 information is published through quite a lot of channels. A quick and easy one to take a look at is our City of Gillette Facebook page. That's a fast place where we get updates out pretty quickly. We've got conversations going between the city administrator's office and public works in those days and hours leading up to what might look like a big storm event. And so when we do go into effect, you can watch all of our official channels. We do usually post something on our website, and we get a press release out to all of our local media as well. So it's going to be on the news record, our radio stations. We try our best to get the word out as much as possible.
Yes.
And that'll be from if it is a level 1 or if we reach the point where we're elevating it to a level 2. And then you can check all of those channels back when we start to move back down from level 2 back to level 1 and then lifting level 1 as well. Which other pieces? Can you tell us a little bit about, we talked about kind of the schedule of things. You guys are always watching. How many weather apps do you have on your phone right now,
Many,
Scott?
very many.
It's tough to predict.
It is.
But we don't necessarily have a preset schedule. When you know something is coming, there's not like a specific time that our crews get to
Correct.
work. Is that right?
The way it really works, Jennifer, we do pay an awful lot of attention to those weather apps.
Sure.
You do find out, though, nobody really can predict the weather.
Yes.
So but we pay as much attention as we can. If it looks like it's really going to come in, we will bring that 8-person crew, and we will just get ready for the snow. There are times when, like particularly at night, we get a lot of assistance from the police department. If they are out and about and it seems like it's starting to get a little bit slick, then they'll place a call to me, and then we will make that call. We will bring the crew in, and we'll get started. What I'd like everybody to know throughout Gillette, once a snowstorm starts and we bring that crew in, we are out until that snow is over. So that really means we'll run night and day, 24/7, to keep the roads clear until that snow event really is over. And so that way, when we're done, we know that the roads are safe, clean, and you should be able to get around town pretty well.
Absolutely. It's impressive again. Talking about how important internal communication is within the city and deciding when to go out, but external communication is important too. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Track the Plow app and how that works?
Sure. As you know, of course, the City of Gillette has a new website. Looks terrific. And on there is a Track the Plow app. If anybody at home just clicks on that, work your way through that, you'll be able to see what roads have been plowed. I think you can also tell if the truck has its plow down and plow up and those kinds of things. So lots of information and pretty fun to look at too.
And in real time, it's
Yep.
collecting
Yes.
data from the
Yep.
vehicles at all times. So we would encourage everyone to check that out during our next event. We'll be sure to publicize it on our social media channels, and it's just a couple of clicks in on our new website. So we would encourage you to check it out. Another one is that how can we have people contact us if they see an area within the city that might need some additional snow attention?
Really, the best way is to call the Public Works Department.
Okay.
That number 686-5320, I believe.
Great.
And just give us a call. We'll take a note of it, and we'll get there as soon as we can.
That sounds great. And during the day, but certainly can call any of our City of Gillette telephone numbers, contact us through Facebook. We're always watching there as much as we can too, and all of the information ultimately does get passed along to Scott and his crew.
Yes.
What else would you like to tell the city about our snow efforts, Scott? We're just so grateful for all the work that you and your crews do.
Well, it really boils down to the crew, Jennifer. Like I said, there are 2 crews of 8. When those roads are really slick for the citizens, they're slick for us too. And they take pride in the work that they do. It's a difficult job because we do run 24/7. In about a 12-hour shift, those 8 trucks will probably run anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 miles.
Wow.
So just going back and forth, getting those mains and priority streets cleared, and it just takes a lot of dedication. Sometimes they might not get called in until 2 or 3 in the morning, but they're still going to come in and they're going to start plowing and just get right after it. The city is broken up into sections. We have an east route, a central route, a west route, and of course a downtown route with all the hills. And then we have a trouble guy. That makes up the 8-person team.
Wow.
And when they come in, they know that they probably are going to be in that truck for 12 hours.
Gosh.
And if it's a big storm, then as soon as they get out of that 12-hour shift, the other crew hops in and they keep plowing. So they're really impressive. They work hard at it and take a lot of pride in their work.
That's a lot. And then do we have someone from our fleet team kind of on call too in case we've
We
got
do.
any equipment things that just is
Yeah.
going to happen when you're running large equipment for that many hours and
Yeah.
across that many miles.
When we know that a storm's coming, the day before, we usually look at the trucks from head to toe, make sure that they're going to operate, but sometimes things break.
Absolutely.
And especially those snow plow trucks, because it's difficult for them to, especially when the weather gets down to 0 and those kinds of things. But they're terrific. They're great help. They're on call, and if we have to call them at 3 in the morning, they come in too. So.
That's great. Well, again, Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here this evening, and thank you for all that you and your crews do for keeping our streets clean and safe throughout the winter.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'll
Thanks,
pass that
Scott.
on.
Great.